KSC presents. This small town is America's most haunted place. Alton, Illinois is a town of just over 27,000 people that should be best known for being the location of the final Lincoln-Douglas debate. But it has a much more sinister source of notoriety. A smallpox epidemic, the Civil War, the spiritualist movement, and unexplained death conspire to create what has been called the most haunted town in America. At the time of the Civil War, Alton had a prison big enough to house 800 people, although it had been closed due to poor conditions. The Union decided to house over 1,900 Confederate captives at the prison, men and women, accused of treason, bushwalking, and guerrilla warfare. Sickness spread immediately because the only water was direct from the Mississippi River. Then a smallpox epidemic broke out. Up to 60 people, including prisoners and staff, died every day. Bodies were piled up inside a dead house. When the prison could no longer contain them, living prisoners were moved to Sunflower Island, where they received treatment at a small cottage and pest house. At least 300 people died on the island. In 1936, Sunflower Island was plowed over to create a dam. The remains of the 300 people were crushed and used as fill for the embankment. People who braved the island before it was paved over saw ghosts and heard voices. The total number of deaths from smallpox was between 1,500 and 5,000 people. McPike Mansion was completed in 1871. It stands on what was formerly called Mount Lookout, the highest point in Alton. Its first owner was the mayor of Alton. He died in 1910. The second owner lived in the house until 1945. During his time in the house, he rented it to boarders who described unexplained noises and the sound of children laughing. When the Ludick family purchased it in 1994, they quickly had their own experiences with the ghosts. They saw faces in the windows after viewing photographs associated with the house. They realized one person in the window was the prior owner, wearing the same clothes he had on in the photograph. Alton's oldest school was constructed in 1904. Its most famous student is Robert Wardlow. Known as the Giant of Alton, he was the tallest person in history, at 8 feet 11 inches tall. The school was closed in the 1980s. Then the building became a factory. It closed in the 1990s, and then stories of haunting began. Local lore has it that a girl named Mary was murdered in a schoolhouse. They say she stayed over one night to work on her homework, then she disappeared. She was found in the girls' locker room the next day, dead and covered in blood. A few days later, a janitor was found hanging inside the basement. Did he kill her, or did someone else murder them both? During the time when the factory was housed in the schoolhouse, employees reported objects moving mysteriously on their own, hearing footsteps in the corridors, and even sightings of Mary herself. One employee reports the girl hanging around her office and even typing XOXO on the computer. This employee also reported being tracked by a malevolent spirit. She frequently found smashed glasses near the place where Mary was murdered. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.